Hello everybody and welcome to another deck profile. Today I'm bringing you my Aromage deck profile for this new format after Dupo, after we get the plant link monster for the deck, which helps the plant Aromage strategy work a lot better. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So my build's a bit more combo based. It's a lot of combo, synchro, link spam sort of thing. So right away, the best starter, or one of the best starters in the deck, is Aromage Jasmine. So this card, if you have more life points than your opponent, you can make an additional normal summon of a plant monster, and then if you gain life points, you get to draw a card. This card's really good because it helps get more monsters on the board to get into your link monster, which is kind of like your starter play of the deck. Without getting two monsters on board, it's hard to combo off and pop off. So this card's also really good for that, and it's also the draw power from it if you gain life points is really nice to help get more resources into your hand. And then two copies of Aromage Rosemary. This card isn't super amazing effect-wise, but what she's really good is she's level 4 and she's a plant. So like if you banish her with Spore, Spore becomes level 5, and then 5 and 2 you can make like Dawn Dragster or something for level 7 synchro play. Like she's really just there for her level and her name. She's an Aromage and her type is plant, so you can summon her off of the plant link or the Summon Sorceress to make your synchro plays. Otherwise, she's just an 1800 body that doesn't really do anything. 3 copies of Angelica. Angelica, in my opinion, is the best card of the deck. This card, you can quick effect, discard her, target an Aromage in your grave, and then you gain life points equal to its attack. So this helps you trigger your aroma effects on your opponent's turn and on your own turn whenever you need it. And the life point gain is really good to, just make sure you have more life points than your opponent, so your effect of Jasmine can resolve. And also, if she's in the grave, she's also a free special summon if you have more life points, so that's why, in my opinion, she's really good. She's also a tuner, she's level 1, really good card. And then the other two aromas, Bergamot and Canaga, we play one of each. Bergamot's really good because he can pump up to 3900, which is really, really strong. Also has piercing, so helps you push for damage or OTK potential. And then Canaga, it's spell removal as well as she's level 3, just like how Rosemary's good because she's level 4, Canaga's level 3. And helps with synchro plays or level manipulation whenever you need it. But that about sums up the aroma lineup. Just 10 of the monsters. In my opinion, you don't need to play any more of the other ratios. And then for text, we play 3 copies of Lonefire Blossom. This card's really great. It's a really good starter. You can summon any plant from your deck. In my opinion, it's best to make the 3 copies of Ophrys Scorpio, which can make the Darlingtonia Cobra. Now this in particular is very good because Scorpio is a plant, and you can pitch like a Spore or whatever into your grave, which have like graveyard effects to summon the Cobra. And then this is 2 plant monsters on the field, and Cobra searches you for Brilliant Fusion, which is really great because the additional normal summon is really good. Obviously, it doesn't stack with Jasmine, but even then, Seraph Knight's a level 5 you can tribute off or you can use for synchro play. So specifically, these 2 are really good because, again, they're plants, so you can make the plant link monster with them. And Lonefire can summon them because they're plant again. So I really like this package in the deck. And also, if you really need to, they're both level 3, so if you have a level 1 tuner, you can make a level 7 synchro play. There's just a lot you can mess around with the Predaplant engine. And then the Spore and the Glow Up Bulb, for more recursion, if you tribute these monsters off of with the plant link monster, you can bring them back with their effects. And then Spores in particular can get you to some really, really cool synchros, because by banishing a plant in your grave, it gains that level, and then you can make some really cool synchro plays. With level 4s, if you banish level 4, it becomes level 5, and 5 and 3 you can make Borreload Savage Dragon or something. That's just an example. But there's a lot you can do with these 2 synchros in particular. And then Gem-Knight Garnet, because you need a Garnet if you're playing Brilliant Fusion, so we play Garnet. Not much more to say on Garnet. If anything, Garnet's a level 4, so you can make Shambara with it in a level 1 tuner if you really want to, but I mean, you never want to draw Garnet. Anyways, 3 copies of Aroma Garden. This is the field spell for the deck. What it does is if you have an Aroma monster, you can gain 500 life points, and then all your monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense until your opponent's end phase. And if Aroma you control is destroyed, you can gain 1,000 life points, which is kind of nice. Doesn't really happen too often, but this is really just here because you can activate it, and then you can trigger your Aroma monster's effects that way to gain 500 life points. And then I don't play Terraforming for it because I don't think it's that important, but it's still a really good card, so you still want to play 3 copies of it. And then Monster Reborn, pretty standard. You're going to get a lot of cards into the grave because you're comboing a lot. If your monster dies, you want to be able to bring it back, so Monster Reborn is super good. Brilliant Fusion, again, making Seraphonite, dumping Angelica specifically, is pretty good to help combo you, start your plays. So like if you have Seraphonite and you can send the Angelica and you have more life points, you can summon Angelica. Then you just get more monsters on board that way. And the additional normal summon from Seraphonite is pretty good. So, and now it's searchable with the Cobra. And even before the ban list, I was still playing one Brilliant Fusion anyways, because this card's only super good because you can search it with Cobra. Otherwise, it's not that good. It's a brick anyways, so just one Brilliant Fusion, even though it's limited. And then one for one because you can get more monsters on the board. You can send like any plant from your hand to grave, then you can summon like a Spore, which helps you get more monsters on the board, which gets into your Jasmine easier. One Foolish Burial. This card's okay. In my opinion, I might not play going forward, but I still think this card is like pretty decent to help get more monsters on board. Similar logic with one for one, you can send like a glow up bulb or something, but it sort of restricts you into what you can send, and once you get rid of all those cards, this card's kind of dead. And then 3 copies of Called by the Grave because this deck is super fragile, so you kind of want to do whatever you can to prevent getting hit by a hand trap. So Called by the Grave is super good, and also it has that flexibility to be a sort of interruption tool if you need it. So that's the spell lineup. And then onto the traps. Play 3 copies of Dried Winds. Dried Winds, in my opinion, isn't super amazing. At 3 copies, it can kind of brick, but I still play 3 because opening it with Humid Winds is very good. So Dried Winds, if you gain life points, you can pop an opponent's monster, and then if you have 3,000 or more life points than your opponent, you can pay the difference, then destroy monsters your opponent control with attack, whose total is less than or equal to the amount you paid. That effect doesn't happen too often, but like when it does, it can be pretty devastating. Humid Winds, in my opinion, is a lot better. What this does is you can pay 1,000 life points. It's a trap, so it's basically a quick effect. You can pay 1,000 life points to search for any Aroma monster, which is very good because you can help set up your plays. You can search for Angelica to help disrupt your opponent. In that sense, like you can gain life points on your opponent's turn. Anyways, and also if you have less life points than your opponent, you can gain 500 life points, which is also really good because it can also trigger your Dried Winds or your other Aroma effects like Angelica can. And then 2 copies of Strike, a Warning, and a Judgment to round off the main deck. These just help you stay in the game. You don't want to get hit by like a giant monster that you can't deal with, so you just strike it and you're good. And Judgment is just kind of the same thing. You don't want to get hit by a card that wipes your whole board and you can't really do anything about it because you aren't really able to come back. That's the main deck. On to the extra deck. 2 copies of the new Plant Link monster, Aromaseraphy Jasmine. Now this card, what it does is it needs 2 plants, which is kind of easy to make. Like I said, you just have Scorpio and Cobra. Just link them off into this. And then what she does is if you gain life points, you can search for any plant monster, which is really insane. And you can tribute a monster she points to and special summon any plant from your deck. So she's a built-in Summon Sorceress and a Stardust, sort of Stardust, but like really good card. And especially with Summon Sorceress, just as I said, you can summon 2 monsters from your deck. And like if you're tributing Glow Up Bulb, you can get the Glow Up Bulb back or the Spore back, whatever, with Jasmine. So you can get into Summon Sorceress really easily and still have a target for Summon Sorceress. So this card is never dead. And then the Saryuja, because if you can't make a really good synchro play, you want to dig for resources, particularly like Humid Winds or Dried Winds. But yeah, these are all the links I really play. They're just sort of combo extenders to help you get into your synchro plays, because that's what's important in the deck. So for synchros, Ultimaya Tzolkin, you can make this with Bergamot and a Coral Dragon. It's not too difficult, and this card can pay off a lot, because you can summon cards like Crystal Wing, or like Scarlight if you need it, or Stardust Dragon to protect your board. These aren't like the best. Like Ultimaya I know is kind of power crept now with the Guard Dragons and everything, but in my opinion it's still kind of nice to play, especially because it can be difficult to get this guy out, and like Ultimaya just turbos you into it. I also play Vermillion Dragon Mech because it's good removal, you have a lot of tuners you can banish. So yeah, this card is a good card for removal, and it's level 9, which is it can come up, and like sometimes you just want to make a level 9 synchro, so this is here for that. Savage Dragon negates anything. This card's broken. I love this card. Dawn Dragster, Spell and Trap Negate, super good. Coral Dragon helps you. It's sort of like the intermediate monster. Like you make this and then go into something else after you make this, and you get the draw one if it's sent to grave, so that's really nice. And then Chambara helps you with OTK. Rosemary, this card's mediocre, but I feel like it's good enough that it warrants play. What it does is if you if you gain life points, you can target an opponent's monster. Its effects are negated, and it can't attack. Sorry, no, it can attack. It's not a Phoenix Chain. It just can't. Its effects are negated. See, you can see how little I make this card. But anyways, I still think this card is worth playing. Also, particularly because it's level 5 and it's an Aroma name. And then the one Seraph Knight to round off the extra deck. Seraph Knight again, target for Brilliant Fusion, and it's just a good card to help get more monsters on board. So that about sums up the deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.